Again, you want to be authentic, and that's the biggest thing. Because as more and more people are using AI, more and more people are starting to understand when AI is being used on them. And then if I see something that looks like AI that somebody used, then I personally lower that level of interest in that person.
You're listening to the Streamline Success Show. I'm your host, Dagmar. In this podcast, we talk about how AI and automation can help busy coaches like you simplify their online businesses. We share practical advice that you can start using immediately. Welcome to the new episode. And today I'm very delighted to have Kevin Dunlap with me. Kevin is the founder and lead trainer of the Optimal Performance Academy. His mission is to empower individuals to unlock their full potential and to live their lives successfully. Through his academy, he not only teaches theory, but also shows you practical step-by-step guidance to implement everything that you've learned. So, welcome to the show, Kevin.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. So today we want to talk a little bit about AI and how AI can help you in your business. As somebody who is deeply involved in business transformation, how do you leverage AI in your own business to accelerate growth and optimize your operations?
I started using AI a little more than a year ago, and I started using it in my blogs. I started using it to build websites. I actually even use it to edit my podcast.
Mhm.
So one of the things I've learned is to use the tools that we currently have to the best ability. And the first thing I really learned about using AI, and I'm mainly talking about things like chat when you're editing written content, is that you have to be very specific in your prompts. If you give a generic prompt, which basically means a generic request or a generic order, then you're going to get a very generic result. However, if you're very specific in your queries or your prompts, the better the results going to get.
That's so right. That is something that I also discovered. And it is really helpful to think about what you want to have as a result
Mm,
when you do this so that you get the answer you are looking for.
right. And also, you got to edit your content as well, because one of the things I've noticed, and there's one word that Chat GPT loves to use, and I absolutely hate that word. And if I see other people using that word, automatically say, "Oh, this is AI," and it's the word delve,
Yes,
Delve. I hate.
right.
So, because I'll be honest, say if Dagmar was my guest on my show, I say, hey, write a 3 paragraph bio on my, or create 10 bullet points without using headers between myself, Kevin Dunlap as host, and Dagmar, who is the guest on our show. And today, Kevin and Dagmar delve into, I go, no, don't use the word delve. So I go
Yes,
and I delete the word EL and put the word I in there. So instead
mhm,
of delve, we dive. we
right.
so
Yeah,
you gotta edit the content that you get as well.
that is right. So I had this in my social media post when I started it, and I saw it everywhere. In every social media post written by AI was the word delve, and in the summary, the word treasure trove. So you can see from a mile away that is what ChatGPT wrote.
Exactly. And when you start noticing these little recurrences, go there and humanize the results. Because just because you get, in my case, a 10 or 11 or 12 bullet point, doesn't mean I have to have it worded exactly that same way. For an example, and when I'm editing the content of a show for my website, the last thing I ask it to do is to create 10 potential titles using my guest name as part of the title. That's one of the prompts that I give. And I will admit that out of all 10 of the results, I will probably get 3 or 4 words of the second one, 2 or 3 words of the fifth one, and then using the name somewhere in there where I will go there and create that myself. Yes, you go ahead and use the AI to give you basically ideas of what you can do, and then humanize that result.
I totally agree. And what I'm teaching my audience is that you need to be authentic and express your uniqueness. So you can't do that if you just copy what ChatGPT gives you, for sure. So you need to go over it and make it your own, at least. Do you do something within your business processes? Do you automate things with AI also, or is it more content creation that you do?
For content creation, I would say, hey, I want to leave feedback on Dagmar's website or on her Yelp page or something like that. And I'll go there and write something, and then I'll go to chat and have it reworded. And
Mhm.
often I would reword the rewording. But the thing is, I would give it the prompts that it needs and then get the ideas like, wow, that's much better than what I could have done. But it still doesn't quite sound authentic enough for me. So I'll go there and tweak that result. How do I use it automatically? I don't. Everything I do is going to be deliberate. But then I'll go and get that deliberate result. And then, like I said, tweak it. And then I'll use that as the content I put
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
If I'm leaving you a 5-star review, yes, I will write the content. AI will tweak it. Then I'll go tweak the tweak, and then I will use that as a post. So it's very deliberate, not
Yeah,
on
right.
nothing automatic, nothing like that's on autopilot. So
Yeah.
I don't do anything like that right now.
No, I was more talking about business processes to automate than content creation automation. I agree with you. You can't fully automate that. Otherwise, it will not be you. But what tips do you have to create engaging content for our audiences here so that they know how to use it?
If you're going to be using Bard or I forget the Microsoft version and the or ChatGPT, it
Mhm.
is again going back to what I had already said. It is to give it very precise prompts.
Mhm.
Now, there's a way that I think you hit Shift Enter on ChatGPT that will give you, like, say, the carriage return. So I would say something like, "Here is the transcript for my podcast," or "Here's the transcript for the first 25 minutes of my podcast," and then I was like, "Give me 10 or 12 bullet points." Then I will also say, without using headers, because ChatGPT loves using headers. So you have to prompt it to not use the headers. And then I would give it, give me 10 to 12 responses, especially focusing on any URLs or social media accounts that the guest reports. And I get as very specific as possible. Even when I'm writing a blog, I will go in there and say, hey, write a blog between 600 and 800 words. And then I get very specific on the topic that I wanted the blog to be about. And they will go there and create it. And then I'll go there and I'll create my own headers and subheaders and all of that, like a blog should be. But the thing is, it's always being about, being very specific on your prompts. And that is by far the most important. I cannot say that important enough. Now, even and I'm very specific on my stuff, even I still get generic results. So please recreate, this is in the same feed, please recreate this, and then I give it more specific prompts. You may say, give it a British twist, or give it a Southern twist, or give it, pretend Yoda is the one writing this. Be very specific in results, because that is how you're going to become a master at using AI, or more masterful is going to be in how that you ask it. For an example, one of the things I have toyed around about is, hey, I would like to open up a Cajun restaurant. So I asked ChatGPT to create my appetizers, including vegan and vegetarian dishes, and then write the descriptions that would go with those different subheadings that you would see on a menu. I would even ask it to create cocktails, and then create the ingredients and the amounts of each ingredient in that cocktail. So it is getting very specific, and that's how you. Even if you're writing a description for your new T-shirt or your new program, say, "Give me a 2 or 3 sentence description on this." And then and keep updating your prompts until you get what you're wanting.
Yeah. And the great thing is you can refine the answers. So if you are not liking the answer or there's something in it that you don't like, you can tell the tool, ChatGPT or whatever it is, you can tell it, okay, please change this aspect of your answer, or write it in another tone, even as you said. I love that. Write it as if it would be Yoda who is talking, something like that.
Well,
Yes.
and it has to be in the same chain of prompts. You can't go and start a new chat because when you create a new chat now with ChatGPT, you can refer to previous chats. However, it's best to keep everything in one continuous chat. When I do a podcast, I'm writing my bullet points. I'm writing my 3 sentence summary. I'm writing my 150 character meta description for a WordPress website. I'm writing the keywords, the title, and the person's bio. If Dagmar and I were talking and she did not give me a bio, and this is going to be Honestly Go podcast, I will have chat create a 2 or 3 paragraph bio highlighting her websites and URLs that she mentioned. And this is all in one continuous chat.
Yeah, so that ChatGPT has a context, right? Yeah.
It has the concept for it to refer to. Even when I was creating my menu for, say, the Cajun restaurant, I was creating the appetizers, the entrees, the cocktails, the desserts, titles, subtitles, slogans, taglines, and all is in one continuous chat. It's just one chain of thought that's going to be reused over and over again.
Right. That's a good tip. Yeah. What other tools do you use besides ChatGPT?
There's one that's called Playground.ai that I've used a few times as well. And
Mhm.
Playground.ai is an image creation as well as or image manipulation. So I've used that as well. And there is a free version and a paid version. The free version is pretty powerful. Again, you got to be very specific in your prompts and you've got to play around with it for a while. Because
Yeah.
I've written blogs before, and then then I'll go to Playground AI, the image that was going to go with that blog. And one of the first images I did on Playground AI was to create a woman in a business suit doing yoga. So I was talking about in that blog about the work-life balance. So it's a woman, she was wearing a tie, she had a business thing on, she was barefoot on a yoga mat doing one pose. And she had a
Nice idea.
briefcase next to the yoga. So it's like, so those are things that you can use as well. What's the other ones that I've toyed around with? There is one, I think it's called 11. So it's the word 11 dot AI or something like that.
Yeah.
And what that can do is you go and give it your voice prompts and then it will read text for you and create, say, an audio book based upon you giving a few paragraphs or a few sentences of content. And then you give it a PDF and it will read it in your voice.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
awesome.
there's so much AI out there that you can be using. I've had an entire course on it that I created last year. And yeah, just those things alone. Now, the thing with AI, it is ever evolving. So whatever we're talking about on this show at the time that we were recording this show is going to be very different by the time the show is released. And then a year from now, it's going to even be more different. I've been playing around with AI maybe 16 months now, and it's completely changed in the last 16 months.
It's growing so fast. It's really exponential. And within a year, so there will be things that we cannot dream of today. Totally.
Wait, just imagine when, because I remember my first introduction to the internet was when I was in graduate school, and it
Mhm.
was in the mid to late 1990s. And by 2000, whatever I learned back then was completely different. Here it is 20 some odd years later, and that has evolved. So imagine where we're going to be in 10 years or even 5 years, much less 20 or 30 years. You need to be very, in my opinion, you need to be very much on top of the evolution of AI and using it as a tool, not as a replacement for you. So
Yes.
it is a tool, and it's only going to be as good as you are as the user. If you give it bad prompts, you can get bad results. I don't care if you're using image manipulation, manipulation, or creating websites. All of that is all done by AI, and it is a tool that you need to learn how to master.
Yeah. What do you think? I just talked to a lady and she was afraid because she is a web designer and a graphic designer, and she was afraid of losing her job because AI is taking over. But I think it's just the world is changing, so we have to adapt to this. I do websites too. Maybe now I learn how to do this with AI, so I'm faster and maybe can do better things than I could do before. And I think it's important to not be afraid there, but to just learn and grow.
AI is just a tool. So if you're a graphic designer, you had to learn how to use the software that was made for graphic designers rather than do it on paper and pencil. Again, AI, in my opinion, if used correctly, is just a tool that you can use to help simplify your job. It's not going to replace you. Now, it can be similar to replacing you, but it's still your creative genius that's going to be there. And yes, I can use AI to be creative. For example, I've written 4 books. And I've had a graphic designer do all 4 covers. Could I do it myself? Yeah, maybe. But the thing is, I'd rather have somebody that is the professional that can do it because they have the intuition, they have the experience, they know what looks good. And I even remember when I got my first book back, it was called Lease Options Made Easy. And this came out in 2015. And this is back when Facebook just started to having more than just the like button. You started having the other emotions that you could put onto a post. And I remember I asked a graphic designer to come up with 3 covers of my book. And then I put it on Facebook to say, hey, which ones do you like? And in all honesty, I liked number 1. But number 3 was the one that most people liked. And that was a picture of a little house. Again, it was called Lease Options Made Easy, which is a real estate concept. So it was like a little toy house. On the image was a sheet of paper, like a contract, and then a set of keys. And okay, this is what people like. And then one person made a comment that the graphic designer did not catch because Kevin said, I like number 3, but instead of having car keys, you should probably have house keys. Like,
Mm.
and so I come back to my graphic designer and say, hey, can you change the keys? He did, and that's became the cover of my book. Now, that there's things like that that I would have completely overlooked. Like
Right.
I did not realize there was an inconsistency having a key with a big black base, with the remotes as being the forefront of the pictures. Like, no, those are car keys. You need to have house keys on there.
Yeah, it's so funny. So, what do you think? What is the next big thing that AI will do for us? Do you have any thoughts about this, where the journey goes to?
I think as AI becomes more involved, that people are going to have to learn how to use it effectively in their marketing and advertising campaigns, because that's to me is where it's going. If you're creating memes on Facebook, if you're creating memes on LinkedIn or Instagram or something like that, maybe even doing a video editing, I think that's where people are going to be, small business owners are going to be able to start using AI in their own businesses. Because the main thing for somebody to grow their business, it's all about their market. It's all about how they expose themselves to the world. And once that starts becoming a mainstream that doesn't look like AI, it looks more natural, I think that is going to be the next step. Now, AI can already do a lot of that stuff for you right now. You can go to AI and ask it to write, hey, give me 30 powerful quotes, notating who said the quote on whatever topic that you're on. And then you can get those quotes and using AI and create 30 memes on it and can do that within, say, 10 minutes. And that's old school technology right now. So to me, it's all about how do you become more effective in your marketing and advertising campaigns?
And how can AI support you with that right now?
I think can because I see a person who was a guest on my show, and she's all over the place right now. As of the last say 6 months, or maybe only the last 4 months, but she's doing a huge advertising campaign on LinkedIn. Has she hired a marketing company, or is she using AI, or both? That I do not know. But the thing is, she's getting a lot of exposure from the posts that she's doing on LinkedIn. Now, can AI and other programs do those for you automatically? Yes, they can, because I started using that over a year ago. It's creating those advertising strategies. And to me, that is the way a business will grow or not grow is going to be based upon their exposure to their potential clients. And how can you use that AI to increase that exposure and do that cost effectively?
So it's a lot about content marketing because that is how you go out and make yourself visible on social media. And definitely can AI help on this way. And it can even, so that is something that I tested out. You can tell ChatGPT or other AI tools, you can tell them, make this article for LinkedIn or make this article for Instagram or for Facebook, and it has another tonality to it and another length to it and uses emojis or not. So that is something interesting too. Did you test something like that?
I have there was a website or a company that I used about a year ago that they would create your social media content. So you either using images that you imported or images that they created themselves. And then they would go and create your X/Twitter post, LinkedIn post, Facebook post, and Instagram post. And they would change it based upon the length that was usable on those platforms. So like Twitter or X, you have to keep it fairly short.
Mm,
LinkedIn and Facebook, it can be longer. And Instagram has to be more image based.
yeah,
So it would go and create that stuff within 60 to 90 seconds and be able for you to go there and just hit post and put whatever other additional material that you want to do in there, like hashtags and stuff like that.
yeah.
That technology came out in 2023. So
Mm,
that stuff is already out there.
yeah, cool. What do you think would you tell people about ethical consideration in using these tools? What should people be aware of?
Again, you want to be authentic, and that's the biggest thing. Because as more and more people are using AI, more and more people are starting to understand when AI is being used on them. And then if I see something that looks like AI that somebody used, then uh, I personally lower that level of interest in that person. For an example, if I see something, blah, 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 and we delved into like, oh, there's AI. So the thing is, use it, but use it in an authentic way. People may say, that looks like an AI image. Okay, that's fantastic. We know whatever you're using it on your blog post or using it on the cover of your program or something like that. Okay, that's perfectly fine. At least how I feel in this day and age. However, is to whenever you're using AI, make sure you're using it in an authentic way so that people can relate to you. So
Yeah.
that's why I say you never just get the result, copy paste, and you're done. No, you go, you get your result, you read it, you edit it, you manipulate the stuff so that you are still part of that whatever that thing that you're posting or content that you're creating, image, verbal or written.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you, Kevin. Where can people actually learn more about you and more about the Optimal Performance Academy so that they can get in touch with you?
They're more than welcome to go to our website, which is the optimalperformanceacademy.org. So we are a school. We do have programs and coaching programs and online programs to help people become better at what they're doing as far as their business is concerned. They can go to optimalperformanceacademy.org. If they also on there, if they go to optimalperformanceacademy.org/discovery, they can schedule a 45-minute discovery session where we can work with them to see if this is something that to make sure that we're on the same page together. So if you're looking to grow your business, go ahead and schedule a complimentary 45-minute discovery session, and I'll be more than happy to sit down with you, talk about where you are in your business, and then where do you want to go, and how can we start creating a roadmap for you to get there.
Cool. Thank you. Is there anything that you want to share with the audience that we haven't covered today?
The thing is, you want to be unique in whatever it is that you're doing. You want to stand out. And if you're going to be just like everybody else, then you're probably going to get passed over. So the thing is, you find out what is unique about you, what is unique about what you're trying to do, and how can you capitalize on that. Now, you can use AI to help promote yourself, but then again, you always still want to be authentic at the very end. So always use AI, use the tools that you currently can have. And but yeah, before you go and promote that, be authentic in whatever it is that you're getting out to the public.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It was a pleasure to have you here and looking forward what you do in the future with AI.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Streamline Success Show. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, and to get access to today's show notes, head over to community.marketingunraveled.com. See you on the next episode.